What's good, YouTube? It's jazzlovesmma here, and here's my UFC Fight Night Moicano versus Duncan predictions. I'm gonna go through the whole card, give my takes on every fight, who I think is gonna win. You know the deal. You picked on this video for a reason. Let's get it started with. This isn't the best card, but I'm gonna be watching from start to end, so doesn't doesn't really matter. My laptop just lagged out. No idea what's going on there. But let's get to the first fight. Kai Kamaka versus Dakota Hope. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have no idea who either of these guys are. I'm gonna side with Dakota Hope. I saw a couple of clips of him on Twitter. He looks pretty dangerous when picking by decision. He's either a knockout guy or a decision guy. So flip of a coin. Kai Kamaka didn't face he's a former UFC fighter. Didn't face the best competition. Didn't lose to the best competition. So I'm gonna pick him to lose. I think this fight is very short notice. That you got booked like a couple days ago. So yeah, not much to really say. It's just I'm just gonna pick Dakota Hope. Prospect. I am worried though because his defense is a little worrying, but he looked decent. I'm just pick him to beat Kai Kamaka on short notice. Moving on to Dione Barbosa versus Melissa Gatto. Both these fine ladies, you know. Actually, I like both these fighters. Um, um, I'm actually really torn in this fight. I took like a good 20 minutes studying for this fight, looking at their topology. I do know both these fighters pretty well though. Melissa Gatto, dangerous, pretty dangerous striker. One of the few finishers in the UFC, the women's divisions. She lost to Tracy Cortez, had a really good third round. She's coming off that win over that one lady that looks like a dude. TKO, pretty great stuff. Dione Barbosa coming off that. I think it was a split, but some people thought it was robbery. To Karine Silva, who lost to Macy Barber, who just got slammed out by Alexa Grasso. Okay, so going to my prediction, I'm leaning Dione Barbosa. I think maybe Melissa Gatto is a little bit more dangerous on the feet, but I think Dione Barbosa has the grappling edge. So I'm just going to pick her to win 29-28 decision. And yeah, with the grappling edge. Melissa Gatto can win, so I'm not super confident. I'm leaning for 49% to Dione Barbosa, but it's my prediction. Her grappling is decent. She has decent jiu-jitsu, and yeah, that's when I stuck on my fingers hard. So I'm gonna lean Dione Barbosa here. Melissa Gatto's been inactive for 2 years. Maybe she's had injuries. No idea. I have no clue where she is. But they're both from Brazil as well. Wow. Shout out to both of these beautiful Brazilian women. Moving on to Asmabakov versus Tresean Gore. Asmabakov brutalized by UC Baguri in the last fight. Tresean Gore outclassed and outboxed by Rodolfo fucking Vieira. Who am I gonna pick here? Asmabakov round one slime out. Pretty clear as day. Tresean Gore got. Man, who did he get KO'd by? Cody Burns just finished him in round one. Marco Tulio took him to round two, but he was beating the piss out of Tresean Gore in round one as well. Then Rodolfo Vieira just outboxed him. That dude just got KO'd by Bo Nichols. So I think this should be an easy Bakova win. I feel like I'm taking too long on these predictions. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Bakov round one slime up. He is dangerous. I read Tresean Gore on the same level as guys like Ryan Loder, who Bakov beat, and Zachary Reese. I actually think I'd rate Zachary Reese higher than Tresean Gore. Tresean Gore does have a nasty guillotine. He got it over Tricoli and Friend, I think. That's it. Other than that, not much to say. We're gonna move on because I'm taking too long on these predictions. Alex Pereira versus Haley Cohen, another fight that I really don't know what's gonna happen here. I'm gonna take the underdog, Haley Cohen. She hasn't fought since like 2024, maybe. Maybe she didn't. No, she fought last year. I can tell by the vet up gear. I don't really remember who her last fight was. She's 0-2 in the UFC. She's a win on the Daniel Contender Series, but she's fought some decent competition. Jamie Lynn Horf, who I think was her debut, that's a decent prospect who, not prospect, she's a decent fighter to debut against, and she lost by decision. Alex Pereira debuted against Monse Hayendon, who I know one of my mutuals on Twitter is going to hate this if he watches this video, but she really isn't the best. And Alex Pereira, she got fraud checked, somehow split decision, and I'm just going to leave Cohen being the better fighter. Alex Pereira is very young in her career, so yeah, she isn't Alex Pereira's sister, so I do not put any stock into that. And I think she was doing something that pissed me off a lot in her last fight with mostly hand on, where she would just walk away when she was circling. So yeah, I'm gonna lean Haley Cohen barely, and yeah, going on to Lando Venado versus Darius Flowers. This is the fight of all time. This is the greatest fight ever made. Um, Literally, who the fuck is this guy for both these guys? But I think actually most fans probably know who some of these guys are. Darius Flowers, dominated by Michael Johnson, actually smudged and outgrappled by 2024 Michael Johnson, and subbed by Evan Elder. Lando Venado's been out for like 4 years or some shit like that. I'm gonna pick Lando Venado by submission. He has some pretty good submission skills. I know he's submitted by Zahir, but whatever. And yeah, Darius Flowers can't fucking grapple to save his life. I am worried for this pick though. I feel like this is a Darius Flowers upset, but he's kind of shit. So when you look at these guys, it feels like they've been in the UFC forever. And I actually went to look at their careers, both these guys probably have like a total of 8 fights in the UFC. I was pretty disappointed when I realized that. I don't know, I was disappointed. Anyway, Lando Venado either smudges it to a decision, or I think he can take another submission win and move round 2. Like Evan Elder, I don't rate Darius Flowers grappling at all. It really isn't that good. So yeah. Alessandro Costa versus Stuart Nickel. Stuart Nichols disappointed me a lot. I picked him in his debut against Jesus Aguilar. He had gillied in round 1. Very disappointing. Then he bounces back to another fight against Rocha, who I thought he would have beat, and he made Rocha look like a monster on the feet. He looked so frail. He looked so chinny in the fight. It was awful to watch. Alessandro Costa coming off the Alden Correa performance. I think that's his name. I know it's Corey, I think, but I don't know what his first name is. Alden Correa. And he did look awful in that. That was a short-nosed opponent for him, and he looked like shit. He ended up like fucking up his foot at the end of round 2 or near the beginning of round 3. Got TKO'd because he hurt his foot. He crumbled and he got just mounted or just got pounced on and put away. I'm gonna have to lean Alessandro Costa here. I don't rate Stuart Nickel at all. If you're making Rocha look like a monster on the feet, Alessandro Costa is probably gonna TKO you within 2 rounds. I think his 2 UFC wins have been come by round 2 TKO. I think Alessandro Costa beat Borjas by like leg kicks. I can see him chewing up Stuart Nichols' leg here. And I can just see him breaking Stuart Little over here. I don't rate much these guys too highly, but at least Alessandro causes he's a bit of a blockhead. He has some decent boxing. His losses aren't that bad, other than the Alden Correa one, and even then, he's a decent prospect. So It's not a bad loss. He lost to Amir Albazi by KO. That is pretty bad. And then he had a decent close fight with Steve Erceg. I think it's similar, but Erceg isn't really frail in the way Stuart Nickel is. Like, everything Rocha was landing looked like Stuart Nickel was about to fucking collapse. So, gonna pick Alessandro Costa by round 2 KO. I can see a decision win here, though. Moving on to Guilherme Pat versus Thomas Peterson. I don't know why I started recording this video so early. I should probably just wait until tomorrow. I don't know who to pick here. That's why I just said that. I'm going to barely lean Guilherme Pat. Thomas Peterson is one of the worst fucking heavyweights I've ever seen. In his debut, he got outboxed by Jamal Pogues. I actually picked Peterson to win that. I thought he was about to be a monster. He got outboxed by Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues he is a little bit of a crafty crafter himself, you know. He got robbed by Hamdi Abdullah Tawab. So people forget. Thomas Peterson had a weird smudge performance over Dante Mays. Had that bad performance over Vitor Petrino, which in hindsight isn't that bad. Petrino is pretty good. Knocked him out in round 3. So it is what it is. He did get chinned by Shomil Ghazi of Rwanda, so that was a pretty bad look. Guilherme Pat beat some Fry Jr. In his debut, both their debuts actually. It was in the Apex, and I didn't get to really watch it except for like round 3. Guilherme Pat outstruck the guy, I guess, and the dude Fry Jr. was like panic shooting because he couldn't handle the striking. So I'm gonna pick Guilherme Pat by decision. Wouldn't be surprised at a KO here. Yeah, Guilherme Pat I just think is gonna be a little bit better on the feet. I am worried for the takedowns. I was originally gonna pick Peterson by smudge decision, but after realizing he couldn't do that to Jamal Pogues, I'm going to trust in Guilherme Pat to just outbox and piece up Thomas Peterson at least over 3. Those were the prelims. Moving on to Jose Delano versus Robert Ruchala. I don't know why I fucked up his name that badly. Jose Delano coming off a good Contender Series win by decision. Robert Ruchala, I think he's an octagon guy. He's coming off a split decision loss, I think, to that French dude, William Gomez, which he looks pretty decent in. I thought Gomez won that fight pretty clearly, but yeah. This is a pretty 50-50 fight, because I don't really remember Jose Delano's Contender Series fight, and I barely, vaguely remember Ruchala's performance. I'm going to slightly lean Jose Delano. I think this will be a very good fight. I think it'll be very competitive, and I think it's going to be a scrap over 3. I don't see a finish here. Both guys are pretty decent prospects. I know Ruchala lost to Gomez, but Gomez is pretty tricky for a lot of guys. Has a win over Joe Anderson Brito. On the feet, too, he was like outstriking Brito, so that's pretty impressive. So, yeah. I'm going to leanly pick Jose Delano. Not for any particular reason, but I think I can put trust in him. He looked pretty good from what I remember on the Dana White Contenders. Jose Delano by decision. Wouldn't be surprised with Ruchala by decision either. At all. Tommy McMillan versus Manolo Cecchini. Tommy McMillan, everybody knows him. Dana White Contenders Series war he had. He was pretty fun. Looked decently okay against Armis Sarukian's training partner. Obviously, McMillan trains with Sean O'Malley. Cecchini been out for like 2 years. Gets chinned in the first round a couple times. And I think he's going to get brutalized in round 1 here. Tommy McMillan should just be able to knock him out a round. But if this is a performance where Cecchini's chin holds up, Tommy McMillan just probably dominates him until he finds a finish, or to a dominant like 30-26 decision. Not much to say. Tommy McMillan's clearly the better fighter. Is clearly a layup. The odds show that he's like a minus 1200. So not much to say. Ethan Ui versus Rafael Estevam. You guys don't notice because I haven't been making videos for that long, but Rafael Estevam is one of my most hated fighters. He's a boring 29-28 smudge, Weymouth merchant. I hate him a lot. He just smudges people. He looks shit against Jesus Aguilar, Felipe Bunes. He did win a 29-28 over, but that was another performance I didn't really like from him. He looked kind of shit in there. Ethan Ewing, obviously the hyped up guy, just came off that win from Will Maker on like 3 days' notice or something like that. Up a weight class as well, at like 140 or something, like had a catch weight. He did look really good. He looked really good against Will Maker. Clearly, obviously, this is a different matchup. Estevam isn't a power puncher. He's not this crazy striker. He's a grappler. Coming from 125, he can missing weight. They're making him fight at 135. I do think Ethan Ewing is going to win this. I think he's going to get a round 3 TKO, maybe a decision. Ethan Ewing, I believe, is decent defensive grappling. He actually showed some pretty good grappling in his fight with Wallmaker. And yeah, this is biased because I don't like Estevam, maybe. This is also a bit of hopping on the train of Ethan Ewing, not necessarily. I'm not the biggest fan of him like a lot of people are. I do think he's a pretty cool prospect. He looks pretty good against Wallmaker on short notice, but this is one where I do think he's just going to be able to put it on Rafael Estevam. He's hit pretty sus round 3s before, mainly that one against Charles Johnson. That's pretty vague in my memory, where Johnson just grappled for the first 2 rounds and poured it on him. Round 3 was pretty much about to break him. I could see Ethan Ewing doing something similar. And yeah, gonna pick him by decision or round 3 TKO. Moving on to, oh wow, this is the feature fight. Okay, Abdul Rahman Yakayev versus Benson Ribeiro. Couldn't dry. Fight to predict again. Yakayev's had a really good, nasty, 10-second knockout on Dana White's Contender Series. Slammed out Rafael Kakera immediately in their fight. Head kick, spinning wheel kick into a head kick. Then found a rear naked. Really good instincts from him. Benson Ribeiro got chinned by Jimmy Yang. Got chinned immediately by Moicano on short notice. Who else has he fought? He's had one stinky performance against like Gadzhiadiev, which was like some grappler dude. He did submit Nergozhin in like 2 rounds, so that was a whatever performance, but other than that, he hasn't really done much. And I think this is gonna be a round 1 KO or submission. I'm gonna lean KO for Yakayev. His last fight was Umar Sy that TKO'd him in round 1. That's why I even picked Umar Sy to beat Kudalaba. Yakayev should be able to knock Ribeiro out. If he just drops him and he finds a sub, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm gonna pick him by round 1 KO though. Moving on to the co-main event. Furniture Naroba versus Tabitha Ritchie. I can't be asked to give a fuck about this fight. Ritchie, 29-28 merchant, has a couple of robberies in her career. Furniture Naroba, the auntie, everyone kind of feels bad for her because she has a fucked up eye. And yeah, Furniture Naroba has really crafty grappling. She was really bad against Dern, so that performance is really worrying me because Tabitha Ritchie can strike. But I'm gonna trust that Furniture Naroba smudges her, has really good grappling moments. She looks really good against Jianyan Jiang. I don't remember her name. She fought Jiang Weili, and Virginia Roper just grabbed her over 3. Looked pretty good in that performance, then looked shit against Dern. Maybe that was just circumstances thing, I don't really know. Tabitha Ritchie lost to Jianan Yan. I think that's what her name is. So yeah, I'm gonna lean Virginia Naroba. It's not because it's MMA man, but more stylistically. Virginia Naroba was able to grapple that Chinese girl. and I think she'll be able to do the same for Tabitha Ritchie. Moving on to the main event, the one out of like 4 good fights on this card. Ronaldo Moicano versus Chris Duncan. To be honest, it's a pretty tricky main event to pick. I think I faded Chris Duncan in like almost every fight. I'm going to mainly pick him here. Moicano is pretty good. I picked him in a lot of his fights on his run. Picked him against Dober. I think he had a shoulder injury in that fight. So he took him to a 29-28 decision. He goes on to beat Jalen Turner after getting dropped in round 1 and hurt badly. Then I picked him again. I picked him in Jalen Turner fight. Then I picked him again against BSD. Has a crazy round 1, 10-7s him. Slows down round 2. Again, shoulder injury. Just picks him apart of the jab. He still gets outstruck. Doctor stoppage. He gets the TKO. Steps in short notice against Islam. Obviously loses. Then he fights Dariush. And the Dariush performance was one of the worst performances ever. He's losing all of round 1. I should drink some water. He's losing all of round 1. And then at the end of the round, he catches Dariush with a little 1-2 and drops him. Pounces on him. There's only a couple seconds left. Dariush survives. He fights the rest of the fight with no gas tank. He looks like shit. He doesn't do anything. He gets taken down by Dariush multiple times. And he's like mainly just defending the grappling. I think for round 2, he just got smudged the whole round on the ground. Then round 3, he got up, tried landing some shots, but Dariush was just punishing him with everything. Chris Duncan's pretty good though. He has a crazy chin, crazy recoverability. I don't like that he got knocked down by Slava Claus. He did get ragdolled by Manuel Torres, who isn't really a grappler. Excuse me. But he's looked really good, and he is a very good prospect in the 155 division. I feel like he gets a lot compared to Benoit Saint Denis, and I do think that he's a bit like a BSD, but unorthodox, has some of the same movesets. And this is actually one of the first times in the UFC he is a favorite, especially in his last couple of fights. So yeah, looked really good against Rebecca. I'm gonna have to rewatch that fight, but I didn't. When I first watched it, I thought Rebecca won. It's very close though. Wasn't mad at the decision. Duncan looked phenomenal. Busted up Rebecca's face badly. Had his own face busted up. Had that scrap with Terrence McKinney. Survived the early onslaught. Got in the clinch. Fucking dropped him with that nasty elbow. Found the gilly. Survived the early onslaught from Oki. Oki shot a bad takedown. Duncan subs in with the gilly. And that's kind of been his recent run. There's probably a fight I'm missing. Vucenic. Jordan Vucenic. Doing good on the feet. He shoots a bad takedown, gets gillied in round 2, I think. Chris Duncan does it hard. He has pretty good counters. He makes pretty good reads. And I don't think he's going to get out-grappled by Moicano. And if this is the same Moicano that we have seen, or not that we've seen, that we saw against Dariush, he's getting KO'd in round 2. And that is going to be my prediction. He does look like he's more informed for this fight. I don't know what's about him. I think I know. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. So he's going to want to win this. And yeah. I just think Chris Duncan is going to be able to TKO him in round 2. Moicano was chinny. Doesn't have the best chin ever. Jalen Turner was able to drop him in round 1. Pretty much finished him, but let it go away. I don't think Duncan's going to do that. I think he's going to be able to pounce on the opportunity and finish. Moicano, he's a very good finisher. And yeah. I am worried that he just gets taken down, gets mauled, but Moicano hasn't shown the best gas tank recently. So yeah. These were all my predictions for these with this whole card. Moicano looking at me like I'm the reason he's in this Apex main event spot. My bad, little bro. Shouldn't have lost to Darius by boring 29-28. And yeah, I don't think I have any other videos planned for the rest of this week. So I hope you guys enjoy the weigh-ins. Obviously, the weigh-ins are going to influence me in this pick. I will be switching my prediction based off the face-offs. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this card because it's not looking like it's going to be a pretty good one. Decent prospects: Tom McMillan, Jack Yayev, Ethan Ewing. Estefan is undefeated, but he's boring. This will be a good fight. Gorman Pat is an interesting prospect. This is whatever, could be fun. This is whatever, could be a finish. So whatever. Could be fun. First round. Could be decently fun. Could be fun scrap. Could be boring. Overall, card doesn't have me hyped at all. I hope it's fun though. I would love to be proven wrong by this Apex slop. It's probably the worst Apex card we've gotten in a while. But yeah, I feel like I've taken so long on this prediction video. I'm gonna cut it now. If you guys like this video, like and subscribe. Let me know your guys' predictions. Let me know if you guys have any predictions you guys disagree with on that I've said in this video. Let me know in the comments. If you guys got any video ideas you want me to do in these 2-day breaks that I'm gonna have, drop in the comments as well. Follow me on Twitter, jazzlovesmma. And for now, see you guys in the next time. Peace.